Welcome to True Health Tuesday, and the truth will set you free. Today it's going to be fun. Get your pillows. We're going to be talking about how to achieve great sleep, and I'm talking every night. Now, sleep deficiency. This is epidemic in our society. Sleep deprivation. You're looking at one of the most common and most effective tortures in the world. You can take one of those tough Navy SEAL guys, limit their sleep, give them interrupted sleep, and you could literally break some of the toughest people in the world down. Now, we continually talk about the 5 keys to health because these are the keys. When we talk about nerve supply, exercise, nutrition, deep sleep, deep restorative, regenerative sleep, and prayer and meditation. Now, sleep deprivation, and I'm telling you right now, you will never hear somebody with a chronic illness disease, cancer, dementia, Alzheimer's, and inflammatory bowel disease that wakes up in the morning and says, gosh, I slept great. So what does sleep deprivation do? You're talking instantly an elevation of stress hormones. Cholesterol goes up, low density lipoprotein, and that's going to be used for tissue repair and hormone production. Then blood sugar elevates. Blood supply to the gut shuts down in that sympathetic or fight or flight response. Now, if you're long-term sleep deprived, you're looking at physical, mental effects. You're looking at weakening the immune system, obviously higher disease rates. Now, lack of sleep has a cumulative effect on your body. It weakens your immune system, aggravates chronic pain, impairs your physical and mental performance, raises your blood pressure, alters your hormone levels to the stress hormones, and changes your metabolism. It can shrink your brain, prematurely aging you. Now, lack of sleep increases the risk of a number of different diseases. You're talking cardiovascular disease, neurologic disorders like multiple sclerosis, gastrointestinal disorders, dementia, ulcers, constipation, depression, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, everything. Now, when you're looking at insomnia, this is interesting. The average insomniac can be in bed up to 14 hours. The average is in 12 hours. They're in bed, but they're not sleeping. Now, difficulty in falling asleep or staying asleep is the definition of insomnia. Most common sleep problem is insomnia. Now, it affects 10 to 15% of the population. And chronic insomnia, you have a 2 to 3 times greater risk of dying. One of the things I tell my patients, look, you know people that are 60, 70, 80, 90 years old with healthy bodies and healthy brains, and you know people 30, 40, 50, 60 with really, really damaged bodies, and they have trouble recovering in chronic disease. What's the difference? One is regenerating tissue, the other is not. That tissue regeneration occurs mainly at nighttime when you're in the deep states of sleep. So what causes insomnia? You're looking at stress. You're looking at poor sleep environment, inconsistent sleep schedule, excessive stimulation before bedtime. And is interesting, sedentary lifestyle is a contributing factor to poor sleep patterns. Now, drugs also totally negatively affect sleep. You're looking at all the blood pressure drugs, beta blockers, ACE inhibitors, diuretics, appetite suppressant drugs, antacids, ADHD drugs, over-the-counter cold medications, huge, corticosteroids, analgesics, sedative medications. It's interesting, sedative medications that are used to induce sleep can negatively affect sleep. Antihistamines, over-the-counter sleep medications, asthma medications, the bronchodilators. It's interesting. Check out the dark side of sleepingpills.com. Sleeping pill users, 35% increase in cancer. Remember, cancer is a metabolic disorder. And you only get 13 minutes of sleep sooner. And it's and 11 more minutes sleep per night. Is that worth the risk? It died 4 to 6 times more often on average than patients who avoided sleeping pills. And you're looking at suicide, accidental overdoses, cancers. And these are the most common ways in which sleeping pills can literally kill, according to Daniel Kripke, MD. Now, the solution for insomnia: reduce your stressors, the physical, chemical, and emotional. Improve your sleep environment. Look at sleep as one of the most important aspects of your day. Get a regular sleep schedule. You do things consistently, you're going to have consistent results. Now, and this is a 21-day exercise. You're going to restrict your sleep to 6 hours a night for 21 days. The most optimal health performance is 6.5 to 7.5 hours for the average adult. Avoid excessive stimulation, particularly before bed. Exercise regularly, and this will help you achieve those deep states of sleep. And look at other things: emotional freedom technique, the tapping, neurolinguistic programming to deal with, again, the emotional stressors. Now, obstructive sleep apnea, super common. And this is major pauses of breathing during sleep. Now, this can disrupt the normal progression of sleep patterns. Now, oxygen levels can drop, causing an abrupt awakening, but people with sleep apnea usually aren't aware of their problem. Now, sleep apnea is also linked to memory loss. Risk factors are going to be chronic fatigue. If you're older and not regenerated, you're going to see an increase in incidence of this. Obesity, snoring. Now, no one's suffering from a lack of those CPAP machines. And remember, the CPAP machine is prescribed for this, but it's not going after the solution. Now, the way your body normally breathes during sleep, you have a diaphragm that's under autonomic nervous system control, and it pulls down and it draws the air in. So when you breathe in, the diaphragm comes down, creating a negative pressure in the lungs, drawing air in, and this creates a suction pressure. Now, the muscles around the airway relax during sleep, causing the airways to collapse and normally block the intake of oxygen. This is normal breathing during sleep. Now, snoring is a vibration of the tissue in the upper airways, and this is going to be the soft palate innervation. It was told to me by one of the masters that taught me. They said, if you adjust this nerve up here, okay, and stop the snoring, and that's going to increase the tone of the soft palate, the spouse will pay the bill. Yep. Now, solutions for sleep apnea. Look at the nerves that supply the lungs. You've got the nerve to the diaphragm up here, C3, C4, C5, keeps you alive. And look at the insertion of the diaphragm. You're looking at the thoracolumbar junction. You've got to clear that nervous system of interference. Then, if you're overweight or obese, just a 10% drop of weight is enough to improve the quality of sleep. Now, for sure, no alcohol, tobacco, sedatives, and these can relax the muscles of the throat. Also, sleeping on your side can be of great benefit. Elevate your head, 4 to 6 inches so your neck's not bent one side or the other, but maintain regular hours of sleep. Remember, sleep is one of the most important activities that you're going to do during the day. This is one of the times your body regenerates most. Now, why is sleep so important? This is the tissue regeneration phase of your day. Okay, it increases wound healing, activates your immune system, maintains emotional balance, increases efficiency of antioxidant mechanisms, increased waste clearance of the brain, and the brain restores its supply of ATP, or adenosine triphosphate. Its secretion of growth hormones increases clarity and retention of memory, supports higher level of cognitive functions, prevents many degenerative diseases. Now, your circadian rhythm. Now, this is the natural rhythm of the day and night cycle. And just like all creatures on our planet, we have a natural rhythm. Now, this promotes daily sleep at nighttime. And industrialization with our environment, with the artificial light, this has massively altered sleep habits over the last 100 years. Now, a clock is a reset that has the body's senses, the environmental time. It's cues. And so we're designed to sleep at night. Light is the primary cause or cue. Now, there's a lot of people that have to work at night. I travel a lot, so I've got to deal with jet lag, and there's clues and how you can change this so you can regain that natural circadian rhythms. It's interesting. A healthy adult and trained to the sun will fall asleep a few hours after sunset. And then you're also going to experience body temperature minimum at 6 a.m. and wake up a few hours after sunrise. This is the natural circadian rhythm. But with modern society, we are missing that, and that's travel. And think of how many people work at night. And I'm talking every pilot, every flight attendant, every trucker, call center people. Now, the sleep stages that you go through, you've got non-REM sleep, and REM is called rapid eye movement cycle. And this is when you are in the deepest states of sleep. Now, sleep occurs in 90 minutes periods or 90-minute cycles. And that's why I always say the body has a natural rhythm on 90 minutes, and it's called the ultradian sleep cycle. Now, if you're skilled at sleep, you're going to achieve 4 to 5 of these circadian rhythms per night, and that is the maximum tissue healing. When you look at these cycles, when you're awake, you go to sleep, bam, you go through the rapid eye movement cycle state. And this is when you're going to get into that deep period of healing where your body's energy is going to heal. And what people will say is, oh, I sleep really good. I get up a couple of times, but I go right back to bed. No, that's not good, because what you're going to find out is that you're going to get up or wake up about 2 hours after. It takes a half hour to fall asleep, 90-minute cycle. When you complete that, your eyes literally open and then they close to make sure that your environment is safe. So we have to change our environment so you can go from one rapid eye movement cycle into the next rapid eye movement cycle into the next. So you maximize healing. This is one thing our parents should have told us, okay? Because sleep is the most important part of your day. If my mom told me that, maybe I wouldn't have watched so much Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner. Now, the non-REM state, okay, this is about 80% of all the sleep. Now, this is the process of your body slowing down, your body temperature, breathing rate, heart rate, the decreased energy. Now, the brain waves get slower and bigger. Now, during the non-rapid eye movement cycle, the brain uses less energy, and this allows the brain to restore its supply, its energy fuel, the ATP. And this is when the parasympathetic nervous system becomes dominant. Parasympathetic, what does that also mean? Rest, digest, and regeneration. That's where regeneration occurs at night, baby. Now, melatonin is a powerful antioxidant. Now, it's a hormone that anticipates the daily onset of darkness. Now, it's used to reset the circadian clock. It doesn't cause you to be sleepy, but melatonin production decreases with age. Now, even small amounts of exposure to light can suppress melatonin, especially blue light has the strongest effect. And that's going to be every computer, TV, cell phone, all of these things and initiate that, and that interrupts melatonin. Now, remember, when you're sleeping, you're going through this oxidative metabolic process where you're breaking and building, and melatonin is an antioxidant, so it helps that. Now, natural sources of melatonin: cherries, bananas, pineapples, oranges, grapes, plums, olive oil. Now, wine and beer also have melatonin, but it can also negatively affect sleep. Now, blue light can boost attention, reaction time, and mood during the day, but it can disrupt those circadian rhythms that you require during the evening. And blue light can suppress secretion of the melatonin. Blue light exposure starts to negatively affect you after sunset. So be aware of what you're doing, what you're looking at. Now, solutions for blue light. Use dim red lights for night. This is what we do on the boat. Red light has the least amount of power to shift that circadian rhythm and suppress melatonin. Avoid looking at bright screens 2 to 3 hours before bed. Get the blue blocking glasses or goggles. Those are fantastic. And also, healthy exposure to sunlight or full spectrum lights can increase the natural levels of melatonin. And exposure to at least 30 minutes of sunlight a day, phenomenally good for you. It boosts your body's ability to sleep at night, improves your mood and alertness during the day. Now, the do's and don'ts to achieve that deep sleep No stimulating or stressful activities before bedtime. That means do not look at the news or feeds. No stimulants like caffeine, no dark chocolate. This can, and again, most dark chocolates have elevated levels of caffeine. No alcohol. This can disrupt the REM state of sleep. Avoid spicy foods before bed. Avoid blue light exposure 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. No fluids within 2 hours of going to bed. And grains and sugars, man, that's a fast way to get energy into the system. So avoid the grains, avoid the sugars, and no work 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. That's going to be physical and mental work, and reduce or eliminate all the medications, all unnecessary medications. Now, what you can do to achieve the deep sleep, you've got to stimulate that parasympathetic nervous system. Remember, you've got an automatic nervous system. One part keeps you alive under stress. That's the sympathetic. The parasympathetic, rest, digest, and repair, is located in the neck and the pelvis. So if you have a chronic neck issue or a chronic low back or pelvis issue, you've got to get that corrected or taken care of. You got to release that imprisoned impulse so you can get into that rest, digest, and repair state. And establish a routine. And this is huge. Meditation and deep breathing and aromatherapy. If you want the key to get over jet lag, and I'll tell you right now, you live exactly at the time of the area you're in then. Stop saying, well, gee, it's 3 o'clock in the morning where I am and it's 8 o'clock here. Yeah, no, forget that, or where I'm from. Okay, live at the time in that area. And then when you're laying down, the deep breathing, the meditation, keep your eyes closed and focus in on a point about 18 inches in front of your pineal gland, the third eye, and just relax, deep breathe, focus in on the deep breathing. And deep diaphragmatic breathing is going to also help calm that system down. And make sure your sleep environment, no noise, no light. Okay, so because remember, you go through these 90-minute cycles. When you complete that 90-minute cycle, your eyes open and your ears, you got to make sure that your cave environment is safe. So you've got to get good eye coverings, eye shades. Manta eye shades are amazing. But make sure block out any kind of light. And, exercising regularly is going to really, really help. Make sure it's cool. 70 degrees is fantastic. Eliminate the electromagnetic field radiation and eliminate alarm clocks. So make sure everything is covered, because you will get more aware every 90 minutes. And make sure that your bed is reserved for sleeping. No work out of the bed, nothing. So you're creating an entire environment for tissue regeneration. That's what we should be calling sleep. A high protein snack is great because that's going to be harder for your system or take longer to digest. And that digestive tract is connected to the parasympathetic. A small piece of fruit, such as a banana, will help tryptophan to cross the blood-brain barrier. A hot bath before bed is amazing. You've got to get an eye mask, or it has to be blacked out curtains. And white noise. White noise is like rain or ocean or just like static. And if you can get a white noise set at 528 hertz, that's going to be the healing frequency and allow cells to transfer nutrients. I should also recommend a grounding sheet. Okay, and this is fantastic because that's an antioxidant surface. You can pick them up at earthing.com, but they just plug into the wall socket so you're sleeping on that grounded surface. And journaling. 2 things you got to do to quiet the overactive mind. And this is when my patients, I lay down and my brain is bouncing ideas back and forth. 2 things you got to do: journal and read. Journaling, you just write down what you did that day, what you're going to do the next day, and any emotionally charged event. Now, this works on my patients who have like Parkinson's or MS. They can't control the pen, but the fact they're thinking a thought, putting a mark on a paper, calms that subconscious down. Then you have to read a paper book. Okay, the old-fashioned ones, no electronic books, because just the physical act of holding that and the rhythmic motion of moving your eyes will also have a calming effect on that brain at least 15 to 30 minutes before bed. So when we talk about the 5 keys to health, proper nerve supply, you've got that automatic nervous system, and this is how your body functions. Parasympathetic is the rest, digest, and regeneration or repair. Sympathetic is that fight or flight. And you've got to have that nervous system clear of interference so it can function correctly. Exercise during the day, that movement. Remember, sedentary lifestyles can cause an interruption in sleep patterns. Exercise will help your sleep patterns. Then proper nutrition. Pretty much your diet is going to be exactly like your great-great-grandparents. Because remember, they only ate organic, they ate, free range, they ate free from preservatives. If it was preserved, it was fermented, which is great for the gut bacteria. Okay, they didn't eat genetically modified anything, organic, free range, normal, healthy, fantastic. And sufficient rest. This is the most important part of your day. The difference between somebody that's 60, 70, 80, 90 with a healthy brain and a healthy body means they're regenerating. When you see people with chronic illness or disease, they are not regenerating healthy tissue. When does that regeneration occur? At night. This is why sleep is so important. And prayer and meditation. If you're having challenges with your brain, if you express gratitude and love and get connected with your creator, or if you don't understand that, meditate. But do that meditation, do that prayer out of gratitude and gratefulness and love in the last few moments when you're just drifting off to sleep. What a beautiful, beautiful environment to regenerate tissue. This is why we call these the 5 keys to health. It's the 5 keys to life, baby. Now, make sure you post your questions. We're going to get to as many as we can. Just God bless you. Take care of yourself. You are designed to live on this planet. And the one thing that most doctors do not tell you is the importance of your body's ability to regenerate. And that occurs at night, my friends. God bless you all. Stay healthy.